Are you ready?
I'm ready. It's
All
now or
right.
never, right?
So, like I was just telling everybody in the comments, everybody just coming in, this is Katie's story. So some of you may resonate with it. Some of you may know someone that has gone through something like Katie has. So hopefully this makes someone not feel so alone, or maybe empowers somebody to tell their own story. And I hope every sweet tea inspires you to talk, to tell your story. I say it a lot. Our silence only protects those that have hurt us. It doesn't protect us. You are survivors, not victims of everything you've been through in your life. You've made it to today. So you are 100% a survivor, regardless if you feel like it today or not. All right. So everybody, meet Miss Katie, aka Toxic Baby. Katie.
Yes.
Oh, I got some on my shirt. I'm sorry, that was embarrassing. All right. So start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, family, all that good stuff, girl.
Oh, so a little bit about myself. Well, I'm a Virginia girl. I've always been a Virginia girl. I just recently started to travel out of Virginia. I was born into my family, which was Pentecostal. So I grew up with a very strict childhood.
Yeah.
Everything was the devil. Everything was no TVs, no nothing. Um, Childhood was definitely interesting. I was very hidden. I was like the rainbow sheep of the family from the gate. And the reason being is, as little girls and Pentecostals, you don't have a lot of guy friends, like boys that are friends. Like it's automatically a red flag. I've always been a people person, so I've always, talked to both sexes growing up. I never saw an issue with it, although my family did. My mother and father divorced when I was at a very, very young age. That's a very triggering moment for me because I can still see myself screaming for my dad as she took me. She had met a guy who, it's crazy as it sounds, it was my babysitter's at the time's son that my mom ran off with, which is my brother's father. She took me all the way to Fauquier, which is about 2.5 hours from my dad, but she kind of took me off the grid. Dad's side was the Pentecostals. So when it came to technology, they didn't have it. No cell phones, nothing. I didn't know how to reach him or anything. Dad got involved with the court systems, got involved with social services, was able to track me down. Mm-hmm. And my dad fought for me. I got to come down with my dad finally after proving my mom to be unfit for multiple reasons. There was abuse. She would drop me off at a babysitter that would cigarette burn my hand. I was stuck with my brothers while she was always gone.
Were you the youngest or the oldest?
I was the oldest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so social services would just pop up and I would be there with my brothers. And I was always told I couldn't open the door. So they finally ended up getting a welfare call that came from my actual mother's mother. And they came with the police and they actually broke the door down. And I was in there with my brothers by themselves. At the time, I was 11 and a half.
Oh, wow.
So that mothering skill came at a very young age for me because I protected them. I did everything for them. After being removed from the home and going to my dad's, dad started to change his religion. So he wasn't as strict of a Pentecostal because it was like he rescued his baby. Mm-hmm. So I had no direction. None. I was never told no. I was able to do whatever I wanted. I would sneak out. I would go party with my cousins who were a lot older. Mm-hmm. Almost died quite a few times with them. And then soon after, I snuck out and I lied to my dad and I told him I was going to go meet somebody, and I actually met Eric. which is my kid's father.
We have that in common.
He was 22, about to be 23, and I was 14 going on 15.
Oh, wow.
I ran the streets with him. He bought me alcohol. I got high with him. I drank, and I got pregnant. Soon after I got pregnant with our firstborn, he became severely abusive, but it was one of those, I'm a mom, I have to stay.
Yeah.
There was no way that I at 16 could leave. I couldn't. There was absolutely no way. Soon after that, I had another baby, which is Lindsay. And right after that, got pregnant again. They are 13 months apart.
Oh, wow.
So by the time I was 21, I had 3 babies. I got married after Abby was born for payment of my light bill.
Like, he wouldn't pay your light bill unless you married him?
No. So his family were Calvary Baptist. Mm-hmm. And they would do a lot for him. They would always dish him money. They would just do things for him just to get him to go away, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it makes sense.
So Abby was 3 months. She was 3 months old, and our electric had got turned off. And his father said the only way he would pay that bill was if we got married.
Wow.
And I did it. Eric became an alcoholic. I would be dead asleep. He would come in and start forcing himself on me while I was asleep after being out with the babies. Mm-hmm. I tried to commit suicide on 3 different attempts. Don't even know if I could say that word.
Girl, if you can't, we'll switch over to another account if anything happens. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about the rules.
Finally, he left for work one day. It was the day that Louisa County, which is a county near me, they had an earthquake. And the house started to shake, and it scared the shit out of me because I was there with just my girls. I wrote a Dear John letter. Oh,
it's okay. Take your time, baby. Listen, you've already unpacked so much. Take a drink of water. Take your time.
I packed a duffel bag of the kids' stuff. I took the kids to my father's because I had nowhere to go. And I slept in my car for about 2 months. My dad was there for my babies while I was trying to figure out life. I ended up getting a job in a warehouse, and they had a for rent sign hanging in the break room. And I ended up calling it, and I got the place. So the kids came home that year for Christmas. Life was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous, so I know like I'm hopping around, but that's the nervousness and that's the trauma.
Yeah.
It's the trauma.
You're okay. So you were 21 with 3 kids, 2 of them 13 months apart. So when your youngest was 3 months, your middle child was 16 months, which we all know is still a baby. You were forced to grow up so fast, even from 11, taking on the mother role for your younger siblings, and then becoming a teenage mom. Are you and Eric still on good terms?
He's been absent, and that's why you guys see me get so angry. Like when it gets brought up about my husband. I was legally married to him because I didn't want to face him. And it wasn't until working at the 501c3 that I was at that I learned that I didn't have to face them.
Right.
And at first, I was told I would have to because the state was going to pick it up and force child support and all of that. They did do DNA test, which he showed up for. But when it came down to custody and child support and all of that, he was a no-show. The state went after him, and I guess, TANF is child support through the state.
I like benefits.
Well, I was getting like $58.
Yeah.
So, like, I just let it go. Like, I felt like I won. Like, I had already accomplished so much by that point. I felt like I'd won. So I didn't want his money. And I stopped being, because I spent all those years with him being dependent. I needed him for everything.
Well, I don't want to offend you, but at 14, 15, 16, you were still a child. Yeah, I mean, and he was in his 20s, you know?
Her first baby, I don't talk about her much. I'm still very much active in her life. Those who are close to me have seen videos and pictures. She was born at 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. She was the length of a dollar bill. It was a stress-induced labor. They couldn't stop it. I went to the hospital. They sent me home and said I was having Braxton Hicks false labor. In reality, she had broke away from my placenta. And so there was absolutely no stopping it. They had to deliver her via emergency C-section. She is now 19 years old. We were told that she wouldn't live to see 6 months. Eric's father and mother, they raised her legally.
And that's okay.
It was
I don't know
hard.
if anybody ever told you that, but that's okay.
It was really, really hard because I spent all that time with her in the NICU and then the rehabilitation center. And it wasn't that they came in and said, we're taking her.
Right.
She has a lot of special abilities. And at my age that I was, and pregnant again, I had to do one of the hardest things of my life, but also one of the most, I feel, maturest things that I've ever done.
Absolutely. You were, like I said, you were still a child, having a child in a very unhealthy relationship that borderlined P3DO. And and now you have a child with special abilities, and you were not financially, mentally, emotionally able to care for your daughter the way that she needed to be cared for. And so you made a selfless decision to put her in the best position for life that she could be in. And that's okay. That doesn't, I hope people have told you that that's okay, Katie. I know you probably feel guilt about it, but
I do. I know that my decisions, I can't justify my decisions when I was younger as to why I just, I was angry. My mom had disappeared to New Hampshire. I went home from school. She was gone, like just gone. No note. She took my brothers. Oh, God. And still to this day, we don't have a relationship. And that hurts.
Yeah.
A lot.
I can imagine.
And that was her thing that she would always throw at me is, you didn't raise your daughter. And I had a sister that passed away from SIDS before I was born. So my mom's weapon was, it should have been you instead of Christina.
Oh my.
And if you ask her about it today, she'll still tell you that. And she will still say it.
Well, she's wrong. She's wrong because you made decisions that were best for your children, and she made decisions that were best for her at the time. That's what separates you two, just from what you've told me so far.
I agree. Like my aunt, she had breast cancer, and we did a fundraiser for her at a place called the Wilderness, and it's a campground. And we did a horseshoe tournament for her. And I'll never forget, like, my aunt Debbie going over to my mom, and she's like, get over there and hug your daughter. Like, go hug your grandkids. And my mom looked her dead in her face and says, I can love them from over here. She hasn't seen her grandkids since. My brother was staying with me. He knew I was doing the sweet tea. And I knew that he moved out. He's gone. He's gone. Because mom raised them.
They have a different mother than what you had.
100%.
Yeah.
They had the football games and the smothering with love and getting them ready for dances and all of that. I didn't. None of it.
Right. So it's you and two brothers, right?
I have two brothers, and then once I moved in with my dad, I was literally, my dad lives in like an apartment complex, and we were outside in the car, and this girl comes up to the window and knocks on the door, and this other woman comes up to dad's side and knocks on the window. And I rolled the window down. It was, one of the wheelie ones. And I rolled the window down, and she goes, so you're my sister? So I found out at like maybe 13, 14 that dad had a first wife.
Oh, wow.
And they had Amanda. And we tried.
Yeah.
We tried to have that relationship. Like, as an adult, like, it just kind of like, she's angry with dad. So that anger and hurt that I have with mom, she's got with dad.
Right.
Because dad wasn't there. So
now she looks at you as, why you and not me? And yeah.
Right. So I bumped into her at a local Food Lion, and this has been a couple years back, and she approaches me, and she named her first daughter Caitlin. And so for a little bit, like, I was reaching out through Facebook just to be able to communicate with them, and then it just kind of fell off again. Because I was cautious, like, and without thinking, it's your social media. So you post those pictures with your dad for his birthday. Mm-hmm. You post those, father-daughter dances that he took his grandbabies to. Consciously, I wasn't thinking of the pain that.
But that's not your burden. That's your dad's.
I agree.
That's not your burden. That's your father's. And regardless of, I understand, I have half siblings as well, and my dad wasn't in the older one's life at all. And so when I talk about my dad, they only have my memories because of what I've told them. But at the same time, we've had the conversation that they're not mad at me because I'm not him, and they're not upset with me because I'm not him. That's their issue with them. And that takes, maybe she wasn't ready for it, Maybe she's not ready to only blame him and put her jealousy to the side.
I can accept that. It's just when you look at somebody who looks so much like you.
Yeah.
Like looking at her, I see it, and I'm like, it's Like, I crave that. Like, I crave family. I am such a big family person, but I honestly don't have it. I have my family, me, my girls, their friends, the family I've met on here, my friends, my dad, his wife, her daughter. But I don't have family. I don't have aunts and uncles to run to because I was blacklisted.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
And that's okay too. Sometimes the people that we choose to be our family mean way more to us and are more family to us than the people that were placed to be our family.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like, imagine if those people were still in your life, all the trauma and all the pain that they would be causing you day in and day out because of their presence, because of the type of people they are. I mean, hell, they're doing you a favor by staying gone because you are such a lovable person that you would let them just continue to hurt you just so you can get a little piece of love. You're an amazing person. Yeah.
I did that when my kids were younger for my mom. And I'd let her come in and then she'd poof. And I'd let her come in and then she'd poof. And I know that the people that know me on this app, they know that I still do that. Not with her, but I do that with friends on here, like, or people I've loved. Like when I tell you guys, I love you, or I see you, or I appreciate, like, I mean that. I don't have a light switch.
Right.
I wish. God, do I wish my I don't give a fuck was so much stronger. And I might get on here and betray it, but deep down, like, it hurts.
Well, because you don't take love for granted. It's something you've fought for your entire life.
Hands down.
Yeah, you have fought for love your entire life, so you don't take it for granted once you feel it.
It's fighting for love and acceptance.
Yeah.
100%.
So you were 21, or you said 20 or 21 when you left Eric?
So we got married.
Mm-hmm.
I left him. Abby was 10 and a half months old. Mm-hmm. So it was married, lights got turned on, earthquake came, gone. Yeah. Like, it was just gone. And we tried marriage counseling. We tried. I had let a friend come, like, so much comes out when you do marriage counseling, if everybody's being honest, right? Mm-hmm. So the preacher, which happened to be the preacher of his father and mother at the Calvary Baptist at the time, his name was Richard Goldwyn. And we sat down and he, like, asked me how I felt. And I didn't sugarcoat anything. Like, I was like, this is what he does to me when he's drunk. He hits me and I'm silent. I need it to stop. Like, make it stop. And then Eric decided to just confess.
Oh, wow.
So I took a girl in off the street named Michelle. She stayed with us. He slept with her. He slept with another one of my best friends. He had done so much that just kind of rolled out there. And I was still willing to try. I was still willing to put that work in.
You didn't want to abandon.
When he came home drunk and he would not get off of me. Now, did he essay me? No, not fully. No. Was he very persistent in not understanding, no, get off of me? Absolutely. And that scared me.
Well, honey, that's still essay when it's unwanted and you're saying no.
Yes.
I know.
I guess I don't want to say that. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, That's when the line was drawn for me. Like, I could take the hits, I could take the breaking pictures off the wall, I could take ripping our family photos, I could take breaking furniture and fish tanks. That scared me. And that's what made me leave.
Good for you. I'm proud of you for leaving.
Oh, me too.
Especially, I left in my when I was 30. You were 20 with 3 kids, not a huge support system behind you, and you literally fought for your life and got out of it. I mean, that took a lot of courage and maturity.
When I dropped my kids off, I thought I was reliving my firstborn.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest thing for me, because if somebody tells you so many times you're a piece of shit and you won't amount to something, you will start to believe it.
Oh, yeah.
You will start to wear that. Mm-hmm. And like, even though my dad was looking after them, my dad and his wife, and I was still going there every day, the worst feeling is being that parent to get in your car and pull away.
Yes.
Because you can't provide. You can't give. You know you can't. It wouldn't have been beneficial to them, the emotional state I was in. Like, it was bad. Emotionally, mentally, physically, I was drained.
It was time for you to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
So you left, you got a job, you were living in your car, you got a job at a warehouse, you finally got your own apartment.
I did.
All by yourself, early 20s, own apartment, got your kids back just for Christmas time. That had to have been, that was one of the best feelings I ever felt, was after I left my domestic violence situation, was doing it on my own.
Yes.
It finally felt like I could breathe.
When I went and got them, like, we didn't have Christmas presents that year. It was, their rooms were decorated. Mm-hmm. Danny, when I tell you, when those memories pop up on Facebook, on Snap, that feeling of seeing little Abby missing her front teeth, walking in to her room.
Yeah.
And just being happy and excited. And it was hard because for a while they asked, when are we going to Grandpa's? When are we going to Grandpa's? When are we going to Grandpa's? And I had to work very close with them to let them know this is ours. But when they would, right. And when they would ask, when are we going to Grandpa's? That was like a trigger for me. It was like a push. Like, you can't lose this. Yep. You gotta pull them extra shifts. You gotta do what you gotta do. You cannot lose this.
Yeah.
And that's what motivated me. The absolute most. Absolute.
Our kids give us so much strength when we don't even realize how strong we are. We don't think that we're strong, and then we ain't got no choice but to be strong, and they give us so much strength and courage, and just, they make you feel complete, and just being a mom is one of the greatest things I've ever done with my life.
Oh, God, sure. Yeah. My greatest accomplishment, 100%.
Yeah. So now you guys are living, you're in your apartment, it's you and your kiddos. So take us on life with Katie, because I know there's some other stuff that comes up here pretty soon.
Life with Katie was crazy. I was self-driven, obviously, to do what I had to do. Eventually, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at the warehouse, and I was also the assistant manager at Sheetz, at a local Sheetz near me. Eventually, I left the warehouse because being the assistant manager at Sheetz, you don't sleep. Like, it's just nonstop. You just work.
Sheetz is a gas station, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was there as the assistant hospitality manager, and one of my friends had hit rock bottom, and I ended up having their daughter. And the other little girl that you guys see in my videos, I took her in. She was with us for probably 2.5 years
Oh, wow.
before mom was ready. So I felt like it was my turn to repay the favor of kind of like what dad did for me.
Mm-hmm.
And to see another mom hurt or to struggle, that is my weakness. Because
because you've been there.
Struggle,
Yeah.
whether you're a single mom, whether you're in a relationship and your partner's just not all there with you, that is the worst for me. So I took her in. She was here for 2 years. She comes around every Mother's Day. She was just here. I was posting her just a little while ago. She was here. We lived in Madison, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. We just couldn't get it. We just couldn't get it. And one day Abby was in the yard and she was on TikTok. It wasn't TikTok at the time. It was something completely different. There you go.
Yeah, Musically.
And she's like, Mom, you need a hobby. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, look at this. And she shows it to me and I'm like, what's this? Like, I can pretend to be like Britney Spears. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
Because back, it was just innocent sounds at that point.
Yeah.
So then it became TikTok. And then I came on a TikTok and was scared shitless on TikTok because I tried to get on the side of trauma bonds. Like, that's where I was for a while. Mm-hmm. I would see DV. I would see, divorces and all of that. That's where it was. I was just chilling over there, just watching it. And then Abby somehow uninstalled it on my phone and like wiped out all my data, got a new phone, reinstalled it, and somehow ended up on lesbian TikTok. And I never got to make it back to the drama side. It's fine. I never made
Once you end up on lesbian TikTok, you cannot get off.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened. I was just scrolling. I was like, ooh. But by then, of course, I had already came out as bisexual, which I came out as bisexual at a young age. We got to rewind. See, I'm nervous, so I'm bouncing. Okay. So when I found out I was bisexual, I thought I was dating a boy. Mm-hmm. And 2 girls in school thought it would be funny to hook me up with their friend, Chris. Mm-hmm. And we were dating. Phone conversations. I'd sneak out to meet the person. And when I tell you, walk like a boy, talk like a boy, look like boy. Yeah. Right? I didn't understand why Chris wasn't in school. Chris was short, very young looking. And Chris would tell me that he was in like an alt ed program to where he was in school, but he wasn't in like our school systems. Right. Yeah. And I believed it. So I snuck him in and we were sitting on the couch and my aunt got a whiff that I had skipped school and came over and I was sitting there with Chris. Chris runs, like books it, like I can't understand why you're running. Like we're caught, you're sitting on the couch. You running, it's not going to do it. I have to okay, I'll wear it. Like I'll figure it out. Yeah. Chris ended up being a 18 going on 19-year-old female.
Oh, wow.
Her name was actually Kristen.
How old were you?
Hold on. So my aunt got the cops involved. Chris, I still call her Chris. Chris went to jail. When Chris was in jail, I freaked out and had a one-on-one brawl with an officer outside. Cause I'm like, why is she locked up? Like, I'm thinking it's because girls in the boys in alt ed, right? So he's a troublemaker. He's a bad boy.
Right.
Why are you taking him? That's where my little brain went. When the cop looked at me and goes, I need to tell you that Chris is a Kristen. This is Kristen's age. everything in me paused.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't hear nobody. I couldn't see nobody. Like, because the first thing I think is, that's it, I've lost my dad.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's the Pentecostal, right?
I've lost my dad. This is it. Like, I'm shunned. I'm out. Like, he's done with me. But I knew that I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, after I cried and after the numbness wore off, I still wanted Chris. Like, come back. Like, I need you out. Like, come back. And then, even though there was an age gap, like you said, I craved the love. I craved that connection. I craved it. I needed it. Come back. After Dad taking me back to the house from the police station and me crying and bawling, and when Dad looked at me and told me, if you want to be with her, I understand.
Oh.
That's when I felt.
That had to take a lot for him to do, coming from the Pentecostal church.
Oh, my grandma would have disowned him if she knew. And so would my granddaddy.
Yeah.
Like, they would have cut it off right there.
Yeah.
It would have been done.
Because we're talking Southern Pentecostal.
Hands down.
Which is a little different. Southern Pentecostal is very, not all, but some of them are very, very extreme.
Oh, yeah. Like, to the point, like, my grandmother, she used to cook on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So family would go up there and we'd eat. And of course, at different times, because our family was so freaking divided.
Yeah.
It was just divided. And I took Lindsay up there when she was like 6 months old and her ears were pierced. And I wasn't allowed to eat.
Oh.
Because I put holes in her body without her permission. And as an adult, not being able to go see your grandparents because you have piercings and tattoos. Yeah. That was rough. It was really, really hard.
It almost feels as if they're, I hope that no one takes this wrong, because I'm not meaning it in the wrong way, but in that position, as if their beliefs mean more to them than you as their grandchild.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, looking
you know what
back,
I mean? Yeah, and I think that's, I don't want to, I try to stay off the religion, as you know, because I don't know too much about it, but that's a lot of time how it feels. It feels as if their beliefs mean more to them than you. That hurts a little bit more. Hurts a little deep, because it's not, they're just, they will shun you out all because of a tattoo.
Hands down.
Right. And a tattoo doesn't change who you are as a person, doesn't change your character, doesn't change your heart, doesn't change your soul, doesn't change anything. It's just, it's ink on the skin. And for them to shun you out and treat you that way, all because of a tattoo, it makes you feel about this small.
Oh, yeah. And I knew that my grandmother wasn't doing good. You guys know I lost my grandma very recently. And so I put hoodies on and covered my face, and I had all my jewelry out, and just to try to go and see her.
Right.
And I went in. Of course, at that point she was just really, really bad. So there was no acknowledging me. And it sucks because there's so many years that had gone by, and my kids missed out on great grandparents, which is something I didn't have. Mine had already passed away. So it sucks, but they were by the book to a T, and it was their own version of the book. Because as an adult, you kind of glance through the book, right? And you're like, well, that's not what that means. But to them, that's exactly what that means.
Their interpretation is different than yours.
Oh God, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's with a lot of people is their interpretation, the way they interpret it, or the way they're told to interpret it, is different from this person's, and then it goes into, well, I'm right, no, I'm right, you're wrong, and it's just it's a no winning battle when it comes to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that was so Kristen was like your sexuality awakening into being bisexual, because now you're realizing, wait, I do like girls and I like boys. And it wasn't something you really put into thought before, because growing up in the Pentecostal church, it was like, no, absolutely not, shunned upon. I mean, that was like ultimate, absolutely not. And
Oh,
then now you have this awakening that you didn't even know you were having.
absolutely not. And I had family members that were telling me, "Oh, it's because you were perceived that she was something else. You
You
fell
really
in
have
love with what you thought you were. You think you
Mm-hmm.
love her. You're too young to love her." Like it was all these excuses. But I knew something was wrong. Like I
Mm-hmm.
knew. I knew. Like I didn't care what anybody said. Like
Right.
of course those friends thought it was haha funny, right? Like to them it was funny. Like haha we got you, and I'm like, but you didn't.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
Um Obviously she never came back. And I don't blame her because
Right.
she went to jail for the age gap. And
Well, she was 19, and how old were you?
oh god, I was like 12, 13.
You know, Katie, I feel like me and you have so much in common when it comes to our teen years, because we did grow up fast. Um, and we were mature for our age. It wasn't so much that we were mature for our age, we were put in mature situations when we shouldn't have been. And it seemed like you had a lot of, just like me, where a lot of people that were adults preyed on it.
I I agree. I made a lot of adult decisions as a child.
Right. Well, you were put in
Uh,
adults. You were put in adult situations. I mean, at 11, you're taking care of your two brothers while your mom is God knows where. And at least it was better you taking care of them than being abused somewhere else.
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, yeah, your dad, then you literally have no rules.
None.
So, yeah, no rules. You're just, and we all know 13 is that year that we think that we're grown. And I do middle school. We think we're grown, but we're not. And so sometimes we get put in these adult situations, and there's these adults that come around, and they are adults that come around and they prey on teenagers like you and I that have more, that act like an adult, even though we're not. And they prey on it, and it's predatory behavior.
And I feel like I back then I used to be really close with like my cousins, and they were all older.
Mm-hmm.
And they would take me to these parties. You know what I mean? And they would give me the alcohol because to them and their friends it was funny. It was
Right.
funny to watch me think the room is spinning. It was funny to put me in a trunk of a car and drive me over railroad tracks. Like when I tell you they were just evil to me, they were evil. But that caused me to be able to drink. It caused me to start
Mm-hmm.
sneaking alcohol. It caused me to start smoking cigarettes because they were so cool
I'm
doing it.
sorry. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
You are fine.
Okay. Sorry. He was barking. I know he wasn't going to stop.
I love it.
So you're put in those adult situations because
Yeah,
other people think it's funny, but it's
you think
literally changing the chemical balance in your brain. Because
yeah.
now doing things that normal 12 and 13-year-olds should be doing, that's boring to us, because hey, we're the cool 13-year-olds. We drink and we party and we hang out with our older cousins, and we hang out with these older people, and we smoke cigarettes, and we're mature, and we don't think like other third. Yeah.
And that was me to
Yeah.
a T. And even after, I knew where babies came from. Like I knew that, but I was very naive.
Mm-hmm.
I was very naive. So, running with an older man who I thought had his shit together. You know what I mean? Like, you would think he would. Um, and having babies, like that part of my life was just crumbled.
Yeah, you
Like
were
it was,
robbed from a very, very young age. Even before Eric came along, you were robbed.
oh yes, hands down.
Hmm.
Hands down. Hands down.
So now you came out when you were younger as being bisexual. Your dad supported you. So here we're back to TikTok. You end up on lesbian TikTok, and where are we at from there? You're on TikTok, lesbian TikTok. That's where we finished off at.
Coming out as a bisexual on this app was not easy. And it's still not easy.
Right.
I feel like that is one of the things that I get judged a lot for. It's the fact that I don't have that preference between a male or a female. I'm about who's going to come into my life, who's going to treat me right, who's going to be the most respectful to my children.
Mm-hmm.
That's what intrigues me. But being bisexual, I feel like the judgment and the damned if you do and damn if you don't. I got attacked so bad on this app because it was my brother that was over like last year. And we were like cooking on the grill and he walked in the camera frame. And when I tell you that this app flipped upside down, that toxic's husband was in the background. Like it was bad. It was so bad. And I feel like men think that it's this sexy thing. Oh,
Right, they hypersexualize it.
Yeah, you're
Right.
bi. So you'll do both. Like, so
Right.
that's threesomes. That mean no, that's not what I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
threesome,
That's
so they
not
can
what I want.
disappoint two women instead of just one for the time being.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. So
Right.
that's a battle that I battle now. And I know a lot of people that I've come across with on this app, they're like, I'm scared to say my sexuality because of things like this.
Right.
Like you feel caged. Because if I was to fall in love with a guy and I want to introduce him to you guys because I'm happy about it, could I really do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could I? Without
Right.
the judgment, without the attacking, without the bullying, like, could I?
You could, but like you said, you will get backlash.
A lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
I know you saw I got a whole bunch of backlash that was she's not even gay. Why is she over here? She's just taking and I got it all the time and I always said I just like who I like. And that's it. I just like who I like and whoever, makes me happy. And that was it. And I don't have I'm figuring me out. You know what I mean? And I can't sit here and tell you if I don't even, you know what I mean? So then, the same thing happens to you. It's like you're not gay enough to be, to be, to be lesbian, but then you're not straight enough without a man hypersexualizing you, thinking that you're gonna come with another woman. It's just gonna be three ways all day and all night long.
100%.
Yeah.
And you do, like, you get those messages. You get them, like, on TikTok. Like, I could show you one day, like, they get pretty graphic and intense.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here like, what? Like, where's this coming from? Because it's overwhelming. But like pressuring somebody to say, you have to pick a side. Like, you're either this or you're that. Like, I'm here to tell you that I can't do that.
Right.
I can't.
Right. And you don't have to. That's the thing, is you don't have to. I don't think who we choose to love and love us defines who we are as a person. And I don't feel like that should be your sole identity. I don't. I feel like it's a big part of who you are, but it's not just your sole identity. That's not the only thing that you are. And I do see a lot of women that say that they are bisexual. They get a lot of shit. they get a lot of shit for it. Or and even men that say that they are bisexual get a lot of shit. Because
Yeah.
there's, I see a man coming out saying that he's bisexual, and they're like, no, he's just that. He's just this. He's in denial. And it's like, you don't know what that man is. You don't know what that woman is. And if you're not in their bed, why does it matter to you? And
I,
then
I
you're hypersexualized constantly.
yeah, constantly. And it's not cute. It's annoying. It's offensive. Like it is super offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just at a stage in my life, like I'm in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I want that love that matches me. I want that energy that matches me. I want that happiness at home as well as on the app, as well as out and about. There's been a lot of failed relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And you eventually get exhausted. And I don't want to be that grumpy old woman
Right.
that's like, leave me alone. Like, I never want to be her. Like, so just like, the next person, I know there's a lot of people on this app that are doing the same thing. I think that I've focused a lot about doing that on the app.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe that's something I need to not do.
I mm, I feel two different ways about it. You know how I feel about it. My things personal. If I want to keep things that are personal to me, I keep off of here because one, I want to make sure that whatever I bring on here, I'm solid in. You know what I mean? Like, hey, nobody tell me about that person. Nobody can tell that person about me. Like, it's solid. And so if there are weirdo comments that come in that tries to tell me whatever, you can't tell me that. Like, I'm gonna laugh about it because now I built that trust, that foundation. That foundation is built. But I also feel like you shouldn't have to hide a big part of yourself that I mean, hell, everyone that gets into a relationship, everyone that is in love or in lust or in like or whatever you want to call it, you're happy. You want to share it with the world. You want to make the cute videos. You want to, you know what I mean? You want to do that stuff, and you should be able to do that free of judgment. It might not make sense to you, to the person watching this relationship that we got going on. It might not make sense to you, but it makes fucking dollars to me. And I love it. You know what I mean? And that's how it should be. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That part.
Right. Just let me be happy, even if it's temporarily happy. Just let me be happy for 2 weeks. Let me be happy for a month. Let me be happy for 6 months. Just let me be happy. Same thing with you. Like, let Katie be happy. I mean, hell, you've told just a little bit of your story. You deserve to be happy. You've been fighting for fucking happiness your whole life.
Yeah.
So when you got something happy, you should be able to share it. And I want you to share it. You should share it. And I think that you'll have a hell of a lot of people behind you now. You had a hell of a lot of people behind you before, but especially, even now hearing your story, from here on out, if anybody brings up your ex-husband after you've told that is your abuser. That is literally your abuser. And if someone tries to throw that in your face, they are a shit person for that.
I agree. I totally came in here, and it's weird because, like, I know you, Danny. Like, I know you. Came in here nervous as hell, and I know that I bounced around, and one of the biggest things that I wanted to come on here with you about was my body dysmorphia.
Yes.
Um, guys, I used to be like 263 pounds. I was fluffy.
Let me put this into perspective. You guys have seen me. I am 215 now. That means that she was about, 50 pounds heavier than what I am? Imagine me with 50 more pounds. And that's Katie.
Anna worked with me, not to read the comments, but Anna Banana actually worked with me when I was that fluffy girl.
Right.
And I loved her. I did. She was funny. She was the life of a party, an amazing mother, but nobody else loved her. Friends loved her. but she couldn't find anybody outside that friend zone. You know what I mean? Like, it was just there. And I hated her. I then began to hate her. And I began to literally starve myself. If I would get so hungry that I would have to eat. I would have to eat, right? So I'd eat like a yogurt or a banana. And then I would set a timer on my phone for exactly 1 minute. And I would go and force myself to vomit. Now, if you guys remember me when I first came on this app, I was like 130. And then I lost down to like 115 on the app. Like, my collarbone was like really bad up. My spine would show. My hip bones were just grinding my skin trying to pop out. Like, it was so bad. But I was doing that to myself. I got comfortable doing it. Like, if we went out to eat with the kids, I would send the kids to the car and I'd go straight to the bathroom. Every time. Every time. And I never felt like I was small enough. I never felt like I was enough. And doing it that way, I've caused a lot of excess skin on my body. As far as my arms, my stomach. I did that because I didn't do it the right way. I chose to vomit until I was hospitalized and had IV bags.
You were dying to be skinny.
Damn right. At all cost. If it wasn't water, I wasn't drinking it. If I drank it, you know I love my Starbucks. If I got a Starbucks, I would drink half of it and then force it up. It was so bad. And you guys see me now. Like, I've gained some of my oomph back. And that almost got taken from me when I was in Tennessee. Because me, Nikki, and Fruity, we were on live. And somebody created a fake account and came in and said, damn, Toxic, how much more weight are you going to gain?
I remember you getting ripped apart on this app about your body.
When I tell you, I ran off that live to go outside and make myself vomit. Triggered. Just like that. Fruity came out and chased me down to stop me. And then I started to fall back into that pattern again. I got home. I started excessively walking, excessively drinking nothing but liquids, not wanting to eat, squeezing a sweatband around my body so tight. It is the worst feeling. It doesn't have a light switch.
Right.
Like, people tell me all the time, I see the comments, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're funny, you're smart.
But that one negative comment just hits that little nerve.
December 28th of last year is when I got that comment, and I'm still dealing with the repercussions. Reddit, they came after the one weakness, and that was my body. And you know, that's when I laid my foot down about that app and begged people not to send it to me because it was literally going to kill me. It really was. Because of the trauma that I was going to do to my body. And I felt it coming. I felt it. Like, even, you know, my close friends were like, do you think you're doing too much? Like, you're out in the gym all the time now. Did you eat today? Like they're not stupid. So they're asking. And I have the stomach skin that I can't get rid of that.
Well, baby, you had 3 babies at a young age, weight gain, and then you had fast weight loss. It's gonna happen, and it's beautiful.
You you can't. No matter what you do, you can't. I can't tone it. I can't make it disappear. Like it's part of me. It's part of me. Um, you can't love me with the lights on. Like you can't. I won't light you. Like cut the light off. No background light. If you touch my stomach, I panic. I don't want you to feel it. Because to me, it's like an entity.
Yeah.
It's something I'm constantly battling. So in my brain, that's my entity. It's gross. I don't like it. It's my fear for you to see it or for you to touch it.
Try everything you can do to cover it.
Everything. The
To
sweat.
tuck it in. Yeah, the leggings, tuck it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you went through it. You went through it. When we were all going through it, you went through it. We both went through it. A lot of us went through it about the body shaming.
Oh, yeah.
And made me look at myself in the mirror a lot differently, and still do. And so, but I never had an eating disorder. So I couldn't imagine just the mental turmoil you were in with your own inner thoughts because of these comments that these people think are funny, or are, I don't even know what they think they are. They to break somebody down about their body and just could bring your whole world crashing down because they could just trigger that one thing in your mind, and then that's all you're going to hear when you look in the mirror is your own worst thoughts.
And it did, like being in Tennessee and being on that live, like I brought that home with me.
Right.
Like I brought it home. I studied myself in the mirror. I ordered me sweatbands and sweat cream off of Amazon immediately.
Yeah.
You look at my videos, you guys see me in it. Like I wrap my body so tight. Praying for a miracle that I'm going to take it off and it's just going to be gone. And then the reality of it, it's not. Right? But mentally, I feel like I'm doing something. I feel like I'm doing something.
Right.
And, like I have to eat in very small moderations.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't, I will get sick. And not all the time is it accidental. Like I could be sitting here and you and I could be eating, and then my brain goes, oh my God, you ate 3 breadsticks. You ate 2 bites of that pasta. Oh God.
Have you ever sought counseling?
I did not. I got scared because the doctor told me that I was causing my voice is raspy. And this has a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. Because of my own trauma to my vocal cords, my esophagus. And my kids, I never wanted them to see me. And I'll never forget Abby saying, Mom, why does it look like you have bite marks on your hand?
Oh, God.
And so just trying to eat late at night while they were asleep so I could get it back out of me without them knowing. It was that I was taking excessive amounts of weight loss pills. I showed on my live the other night, Danny, I had like 13 bottles. And I would take them.
Those are not good for your heart.
I'd take them from Xantrax to Hydroxycut to Lipozene to laxatives, water pills. Yeah. I was dehydrating my body. which is why I had to get IVs. So when you guys get those hate comments about your body, I need you guys to see the damage that it honestly does to somebody.
Right. Even the people that aren't meaning it in a mean way. Right. And the one I hate is, oh, Danielle, you're getting thick. Oh no, but it looks healthy, and I'm just like, oh my god, and like, you know what I mean? Like I know I've gained a little bit of weight, and but it's still, to sit there and be like, oh, you're getting thick. Oh no, I didn't mean that in a bad way. It looks good. Oh no, it looks good. And I just thought, because I hate the word thick, and I'll make jokes about it, but I hate it.
But then your brain goes like a spider web, right?
Yeah.
Like you start to wonder how they really meant it. Like that comment, like when they came in and their first comment says, damn toxic, how much weight are you going to gain back? Then they said, it looks like you've ate 2 or 3 extra cheeseburgers than what you needed.
Wow.
And my ass screenshotted it. I screenshotted it. So that was the old toxic, right? That's the old toxic. I screenshotted that as my reminder, right? Just like having to, when I would weigh myself every day, all day, stepping on a scale all day, just to make sure I didn't gain a single freaking ounce, not even an ounce, because I'd panic. Body shaming an individual is one thing that you guys will never in my life see me do. Because I know how it feels to be the one shamed.
Yeah. And I truly, deep down inside, when I say every body is beautiful, I mean that. And it's taken me a long time to apply it to myself, and I don't always apply it to myself. But I've never had an eating disorder, and I'm sure Katie will say this is the same for her, because I was, during domestic violence, was constantly ridiculed about my appearance and my weight. And so to fight those thoughts in the most innocent of situations, when you walk by gas station windows, when you walk by a car that has tint, when you go into a dressing room. I hate going into dressing rooms. I absolutely hate it. I try to do I won't go buy new clothes because I don't want to go in the dressing room. So when I go and I get shirts, I just get t-shirts. I usually get men's shirts because I don't have to go try those on. I know what size is going to fit. So I don't, and that's just my little things, because I don't want it to ruin my day, and I'm getting comfortable with my body. So it's baby steps, and I'm learning to love my body and know that it's beautiful, because I've had 2 kids. I've made it 35 years with this body. This body has gotten me through some things that should have killed me, and I'm still here. I love my body. I just wish I loved it unconditionally, and I'm working on that. But I truly do mean that everybody's body is beautiful, especially a woman's body. When they have kids, man, when you have kids, your stomach gets so far out, and it's such a beautiful thing. But then after you have children, your body changes. Your breasts don't sit up as high anymore. Your skin is a little stretched out. Your hips are a little bit wider. But those are, like I said earlier, my kids are the greatest things that's ever happened to me in my life. My ultimate achievement, my biggest blessing. And I know to receive that blessing came a little bit of body damage, and that's okay, because it's not damage, it's beautiful.
I think with me, it was when I was with Eric, I wasn't allowed to work. There wasn't even flexibility for me to work, right? Right. I was a mom with all the minis. So I would just sit at home all day, and I would stress eat, and I'd stress eat, and I'd stress eat. And people would make comments like, oh, I could never be with a big girl. Big girl's not for me, right?
I hate the ones that are fetish, like make a fetish.
Or those, yes. So like
Yeah.
you would get both sides of the fence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I, it broke me. And like just last summer, when like you're talking about the dressing rooms and you're talking about walking by the tinted windows and the gas station. Yes.
Gas station windows. I can't. I try. I look at the ground.
But the worst for me is pulling out my summer clothes.
Bathing suits and beaches
It's
and pools.
it's the bathing suits. It's the shorts.
Yeah.
It's just pulling all of that stuff out and then realizing, oh my God, it doesn't button.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? It's a lot of people can control, not a lot. Some people can control their mindset when it comes to that. Okay, it doesn't fit. So I'm going to work out and get back into it. Oh, it doesn't fit. Okay, I'm just going to go buy new ones. I go, oh shit, it doesn't fit. Got to get to the bathroom.
Yes.
My brain immediately takes me there every single time.
What was if you don't mind me asking, what was because there's always a first time. There's always something that initiated. Do you know what that is yet?
I don't exactly know. If I had to say looking back, it was being alone, feeling unwanted, a failed marriage, single mom. I didn't love me. I didn't. I can tell you what I was doing that day. And I was watching a Dr. Phil episode. And I can tell you that there was a girl on there who had a wrist like this because she would force vomit her food up. And I didn't see her sick, right? I didn't see her sick. I heard her story. Well, this is what I used to weigh. This is what I'm doing. I didn't hear you're going to end up in the hospital. You can die from this.
You need your hair. You're going to have damage to your.
That is why my hair is so thin. Like if you know me off the app, like I have really thin hair. It's malnutrition. It's what I've done. That's why my teeth are like they are. I did it. But it was a mental issue that I can't control. I can't. Have I reached out for help? No. I try to preoccupy myself, and now I have a really good group of friends that are like hype queens, and they're right there with me, and they take up for me when I'm weak.
Love them.
So I'm not craving that love. I'm craving a different form of love, right?
Self-love.
But now I have the self-made family, right? Who I can call and bitch to or call and cry to without being judged, without being told, oh, I can't mess with you because of that piercing or this tat.
Yeah.
So it's
unconditional, no stipulations love. You're loved completely naked with your clothes on.
Yeah, but I encourage anybody who is going through that and doesn't want to speak up about it to talk to somebody.
Yes. And it's not late. It's not too late for you to talk to somebody either. That option is still open and it's still available to you. You don't have to try to figure it all out on your own. I know you've been hyper independent since you were young. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. It's okay to get help. And having the support team behind you, it may be the best time to get it, where you have them to go to after, a session, or, and you don't have to stick to it forever. Just stick to it for as long as you need, as long as you want. Even if one session, at least you try it out. It might be good for you.
I think maybe it would, because my mindset hasn't been the best since, again, late last year. So I think maybe that is something that I could definitely benefit, especially right now.
I think you have a lot of support behind you, and I think it'd be something good for you. Be something really good. And maybe they can tap into a little bit deeper as to why the eating disorder, and why, the feelings of hyper independence, and all that. And it may help you, and you have great people in your corner now. I've seen such a growth in you as well, just where you are not allowing yourself to be you're not allowing yourself to be attacked anymore. You're not making yourself available to be attacked. You have set very clear boundaries, and I love them. And you are standing up for yourself, and you're setting clear boundaries, and that's what everybody needs to do. Just because you have X amount of followers does not mean that you have to be 100% available to everybody. And I love that your main people respect those boundaries, and they're not sending you crap anymore, and you don't have people hopping from your live to another live to another live. And God, because that is so mentally draining, and you're already going through enough.
I have felt so much better. A lot of people say a new year, a new me, and I support those words.
Yes.
But going into this year, at the end of 2022, like, I was destroyed, crushed. I had to learn how to set boundaries, and that was not easy. It started with pen and paper. And because I am that type that constantly allows the in and out, because as long as you come in and I see you and I love you, it's okay if you run away, right? Like, that's what I'm used to.
Right. That's been your setup. Your dad, even though his wasn't intentional, still happened. That's something.
So I've based my content now around a journey, and it's not my past journey. It's my current journey. It is them seeing me attempting to honestly love me, because I will never let somebody love me until I can love me, because it's only fair.
Yes, ma'am. I say that all the time, girl. How can I expect anybody to love me the way I should be loved if I can't even love myself? So I preach on that. I love people that go out and they look for love, and they wear their heart on their sleeve, and they're just out there doing it. But make sure you are healthy to do that. Make sure you love yourself to do that. Because if not, you are just taking baggage to the next person, and then you're adding on more baggage and going to the next person, and it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
And honestly, like, I can't handle any more bullet wounds in myself, right? Like, I need to repair those, because there's been plenty. Right. And the saying that you can't fill somebody else's cup if your cup is empty, I stand up on that 100%. And I've tried to give people the empty version of me. Like, I've tried, but it's not healthy. My time will come when it's my time. And until then, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to make my memories. I'm going to love what I do and do what I love.
I love watching you falling in love with yourself.
It's been a hell of a year, but we're
Right.
doing it.
But I'm watching it. You're falling in love with yourself. And it's amazing. And I can't wait to see everything to come from it, girl. Because once you fall in love with yourself, the bar is going to be set so high that the right person that's coming in your life, that's supposed to be in your life, is going to be the only person able to reach that bar for a reason.
I'm excited. We shall see. We shall see.
We've opened, we talked about a lot, girl.
Yes, we did.
I've always loved you. We've always had so much in common. You've always been, since I first met you, I was like, oh, I just love her. Because we have so much in common.
Just being on here, like, I feel so much lighter. I have been judged on this app a lot. A lot of it is because the name is toxic.
But you're not toxic. I think you've had toxicity, but I don't think you're the toxic one.
A lot of people are starting to say that. They're like, you are not toxic. It's time to change the name. It's time to let it go. But I am blessed for all the ones that did come in here tonight. There's nothing more in this world that matters more to me than you forming your own opinion about me.
Yes.
Versus what you may have heard or what you may have thought because of what you heard. Take a chance and get to know me. And I promise you, you will see I'm not the toxic one.
Right. You're a person, man. You're just like everybody else out here. You want love, dude. Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. You want love. And you love hard as hell.
Yes.
You hard as hell and you want love, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I want you to love yourself, and I'm so happy that you're in love with yourself.
Me too.
It's beautiful. It really is. Because you deserve it, girl.
I'm ready. Right. End time.
So did you want to take a couple? I think your sweet tea has hit me the hardest because like, oh, see, and you know what? When I was doing the sweet teas and I was asking people to do sweet tea. I always wanted you to come on. And because regardless of what we might think about our stories, and maybe this person can't relate or they can relate, there's somebody out there that can relate to your story, whether it's being a young mom, an eating disorder, all of it. I mean, the abandonment. I mean, there's so many people that can relate. And there's 536 people in here right now, I bet you made at least one person not feel so alone anymore.
And that's all that matters to me. When I tell you that when I was standing in my mirror, doing my hair,
right?
When I was standing in there, I was literally coaching myself. Katie, you got this. You can't be the only one. It wasn't like you can't be. You're going to either give someone the courage to talk about it or to get some help about it. Like you can't be the only one. You're not.
You're not.
And even if it's just one.
Right.
Just
one thing I want people to know when they come on Sweet Tea and they tell their story, so many people see you in them, so you're giving them a voice. You're helping tell their story. And I see that so much in the comments and afterwards, and the people that come in my lives is how much they can relate to this person's story, how much they can relate to this, and it makes them feel like their story is heard. And it's a lot to bear on your shoulders, I know, but it's such a beautiful feeling when, and I can guarantee, Katie, you're going to get one person that's going to come in to your live or one of your videos, and they're going to make one comment that is going to make you cry. It happens to me all the time, girl. Like, I'm almost about to cry. It happens to me all the time. It's going to make you cry, and it's going to make you love doing these. And you're going to start talking. You're going to start being more open. And you're going to start having those conversations. You're going to inspire so many people to have conversations. I'm so proud of you.
I love you so much.
I love
Don't
you.
do
I
that.
know. Listen, we both can't cry. Listen, I've been working on not crying and sweet teas, and I've been doing so good. I'm doing so good.
Hold it in, Danny. Hold it in.
Hold it in. I'm a sensitive thug. I gotta hold it in. Oh man. So Katie, I always ask people, what is one advice that hold on. What is some advice that you can give to that young girl that's living life a little bit too fast and a little too old?
Oh, slow down. Baby, slow down. The world is beautiful, but you have to take time to learn it. Walk it. Don't run. Walk it. I ran and I missed all the beautiful things. All of them. You don't get a second chance. You have one story to write. You're the author of it. All of those things will be there for you later in life. Just slow down. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one is what is your advice? I got two, okay? Because I think there's a couple little parts of your story that really hit. What is your advice to that mom that had to make that hard decision? And what is your advice to that girl that is struggling with an eating disorder?
To the mom that has to make that hard decision.
Don't cry because I'll both cry, girl. We're both gonna cry.
Who? I just keep seeing me at 16. My advice to that girl is you are making the best choice for that baby. You are giving her her best chance. And that is the most unselfish thing you can do. That one was hard because I could see me. Oh. And to the girl struggling with the eating disorder, you're beautiful. You matter. And reach out, talk to somebody before it gets so bad.
Man, those were hard. I'm sorry. Whew. I am so proud of you, Katie.
Oh. It's nothing like having that, like, Danny, when I tell you I could see me, like, I could see me sitting in that rehabilitation center by my baby, fighting myself. Like, my brain knew it, right? Like, I knew what was best, but inside I was hurting so bad. But as an adult, I know I did what was right. I still battle and I have my what ifs. But I know at that point in my life, for her to have the fair chance and to get what she needed out of this life financially, the one-on-one, I did the right.
You definitely did.
Oh, I'm shaking.
I know. Can we get some hearts for Katie? Can we just get some hearts real quick for Miss Katie? I'm so damn proud of you. Yes, she does still see her. She's very active in her life. Thank you, guys.
She can say 4 words, and that is mama, purple, love, and bye. But her main one is mama. And I think that the fear in me of her, because it was his family. Mm-hmm. So at any minute, the fear of them saying,
right,
you're done. But I am blessed that they never did that. I was there through every single milestone, graduations, dances, cheer games, cookouts, whatever it may be. But to walk in that door to this day and her say, Mama, she knows me as mom.
Because you are mom.
And she's a spitting. I'm trying to see if Abby takes care of this. Oh.
Ooh, Katie.
I know. This is her graduation picture.
Oh. She's beautiful.
Not my twin.
Yeah. She is beautiful. She is your twin, girl. Baby. There was one comment on here I wanted to tell you because it caught my eye. Army Brat said, as someone who was adopted, you did the right thing. You were amazing. You got to maybe take a couple questions. All right, we'll do a couple questions, guys.
Do it.
And then we're gonna wrap her up. I know we got Dan Ashley's in the comments. She's gonna be coming up. She's gonna be doing her sweet tea soon too. So proud of you. So strong and brave, Katie. I'm adopted. Best decision they made. Oh, there's Sarah, Ladybug's mama. She is a pastor's wife. She has her youth group, watches Sweet Tea. It's girls that range from 15 to 21, and they've been watching Sweet Tea. So we're trying to get them some Sweet Tea shirts.
That gave me goosebumps. Well, anything I can do to help with that, you message me and you let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun size redhead. Yeah, if anybody would like to help out with the Sweet Tea shirts for the youth group, you can Cash App's in the bio. It's Danielle Renee 00. Or you can just go to my merch, which is in my bio, the Sweet Tea merch. And when you order a shirt, you just put in there youth group in the comments, and she'll know that shirt is for the youth group if you want to buy from the website directly. You have my 9-year-old in the hospital, and she just said, I want to be like Katie. Oh. So I'm not doing anybody in the box because I download them and I put them to YouTube, and there's a bunch of waivers and stuff. Me and all the nurses are crying. This is beautiful news, right? Made me cry. Does Katie have other kids? She has 3.
Are you a strict mama with your girls because of what you went through? So I don't want to say that I'm a strict mom because my goal as a mom was to have a relationship with my children, one where they trust me, can talk to me. Am I a little strict about where they go? Yeah. Do I have to meet like where they're going and all of that? Absolutely. Do they have friends over here all the time? Yeah, they got friends over now. Like,
my house is always the gather house.
That's mine.
Yes.
And they have friends that say, I want to go to Mama Kay's house. and they come right over here. I feel better when they're in my home.
Right.
And maybe that is because of my past. Protective mama. Very protective. I will say that.
Do you have any advice for the mama who has to leave with kids and start over? Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't listen. If you have thought about it and you know that it's not going to work, right? And you know you're done, don't wait.
Nope.
Don't wait. Create a safety plan. Create a safety plan and do it.
I was homeless for about 2 weeks when I left, and I had to fight with my own thoughts in my head because I let this person make me believe that I would not be able to do it by myself, and that I was a horrible mom, and just all those thoughts I had to get out of my head. And when I finally got my own place with my kids and I felt safe and I could finally breathe, was one of the best feelings. And now I'm almost 5 years. Yeah, because it's 2023. I'm almost 5 years doing it by myself. Has it been hard? Yes. But you know what else was harder? Walking on eggshells every single day and basically waking up and just living without truly being alive.
You kind of fell into it was a pattern, right? Like your everyday was your everyday.
Yeah.
And I felt concreted in giving my situation. I came from a broken family.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want my kids to have it.
Yep.
And I felt guilty. Like when I left, I felt guilty. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like my mom. I'm just like my mom. She left. She didn't stick it out. She ran. My dad was good to my mom. My mom was just a cheater. There's no other way around that.
I felt like I failed twice because my daughter and my son have different fathers. Um, so I was like, well, I already failed once, and I'm failing again. And what I truly failed in was I love them, not my kids. I love the other people more than I loved myself. That's where I failed. That's where I truly failed.
Like I gave a man his children. I bared his children, right? And I was a baby who bared his children. I kept the house clean. I didn't have a choice. I was with the kids all day. Didn't have a choice. I shuttled them around for all their appointments and etc. Didn't have a choice. So when people look at my life and they're like, damn, you're organized. Especially like at work, they're like, whoa, like you're very organized. I'm like, if you had to do it by a dry erase board on your refrigerator, appointments, sports, daycare, preschool, you'd be organized too.
Right. And you had 3 little ones like back to back.
My body was exhausted.
Yeah.
16, 18, 21.
Yeah.
Well, 16 going on 17 and then 17. It was like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Like, with GIW coming up, a lot of people are like, why are you the most excited about prom? And I'm like,
because we didn't get a prom.
I don't know what that is. Right. I never got to get ready for prom. Like, I've dressed my girls up for their day. Excuse me, hi. I want to go to prom.
Right, I want to go to prom. Someone asked if, so it was worded weird. So someone asked if Katie's body dysmorphia caused the Bell's palsy, but I think what they meant, the eating disorder caused the Bell's palsy, and Bell's palsy is more neurological.
So, Bell's palsy. All right, so Bell's palsy is initiated by stress. Yep, it's initiated by stress. So it's a weird thing. It is. It's very weird because when I tell you guys, like I thought I have lived a stressful life. It took a phone call with like five of my friends screaming and yelling at each other, and me screaming at them to say, "Hey, this isn't worth it. Stop, stop, stop."
Yeah.
To do what I did. Now the doctor did tell me, because my doctor knows what I've done to me, right? Like my doctor knows. And my doctor did tell me like with that nerve, because like that nerve never really goes back, right? Like you just showed. It
Yeah.
never really goes back. Like you'll
You have to
have,
see like this, and I get a really bad lisp now. I've always had one, but now it's even worse because my lip, this side drops down further than this side does.
yeah. So like, so once you have bells, it never really goes away. But now that nerve is, it's irritated, right? It's irritated. It's almost permanently irritated. Minus, you do go back to kind of being, your face going back to what it was. But it's very easy to trigger. Like I just did you hear that? So like if I was on here screaming and yelling, I'll start to slur. Slurring's awful.
Oh,
I'll start to tingle.
if I'm really tired, that's when it's really bad. You can tell that I'm tired because all of a sudden, like everything's just a little bit more like.
Or like if
Yeah.
you're on live for a long time and you're
Hmm.
straining your eye, like you can
Yes.
feel that. Now,
Yeah.
if I was to go back to inducing myself to throw up, I'm pretty sure that that would probably act out, like, right? Because I'm
Right.
stressing my body out at that point, right? So I don't, I guess that's it for me because I'm not a doctor. That's an opinionated question for me. It's not something I really brought up to my doctor either. So,
I think that. Okay, sir. Sorry, my emotional support kitties are here. Um, I think that it's like whenever you pile shit on like not shit, just pile stuff. It just piles, and you just put a little more on there and a little bit more on there and a little bit more on there, and then all of a sudden you take the smallest little thing and you put it on this pile, and the whole thing just falls over.
yeah.
And so like I've gone through some very stressful situations, and it was just the one thing, boom, and then it triggered it. And so I would say my personal opinion, I feel like there's a buildup. It's almost like a domino effect, and it's just that one thing, that one something could be so small. It could be I'm stressed out because the line at McDonald's is a little bit longer for coffee, and it's the one thing, and it hit me.
Like I still get the tingling. I'll get the pain. Like
Right.
when we were going through issues with creators, right? I was sitting on live and because I was getting upset and I went like this and I was so tender to the touch.
Mhm.
Like it was hurting. So I'm very cautious, and I think that has a lot to do with why I made the decision to say, okay, that's not acceptable anymore.
Right.
Like that put me in the hospital. Like that, well, that's not acceptable. No more.
Yeah. Well, because you realize what's truly worth it and what's truly not. And I've come to realize a lot on here. I mean, you talked about it a little bit more. Is that we think that it's conflicts with other people, and at the end of the day, it's. I don't think people understand how powerful words are, and someone comes into my live and says something, and then goes into someone else's live and says something, and it just you might catch me on the right day, the right time, and I'll be like, what the fuck, and then I word it wrong, and then now it's that's a big huge problem, is the back and forth,
Yeah.
and that's why I set a boundary a long time ago about, if you're somewhere, you can't be in my life, because it's not worth it. I have to break that connection completely. the back and forth is the worst thing on here.
And I don't think people understand what breaking a connection really means, right? So there's a lot of steps, and you have to break a connection with people that you had a relationship with, right? Like you have to cut that connection first. And then you realize, well, A, B, C, D, and E, F, G isn't good for me either. So then you have to learn to cut all those. Like it's
Right. It's like it's when you leave a DV situation, or you leave, like something like that. It's you have to go zero contact, and unfortunately, zero contact is cutting off all forms of communication. It could be that person that just feels a little bit comfortable coming into my life and repeating something they just heard in a different life, or someone trying to play peacemaker, and you're an extension of that person, and so unfortunately my peace is a little bit more valuable to me than making sure someone has a freedom to go into both of our lives and go back and forth. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah. And I do go to McDonald's for coffee because it's the closest thing on my way to work.
Fair enough.
Is it good? Is it good? Absolutely not. Does it do the job? 100%. It does the job, but it's not, I don't know. It's not quite there. It is cheap. It is cheap. I get the McMuffin and a coffee and a sweet tea, and I'm all set for work. Because I don't wake up early enough to make my own breakfast.
Me neither. I'm out the door. It's a wrap for me when I'm gone.
Yeah, it does a job. It's cheap. It doesn't taste horrible, but it's not the best. She said coffee. Oh, man. Well, Katie, we have had an amazing sweet tea, and I am forever grateful for you coming on here and hanging out and sharing your story with us. And I hope that you continue to tell your story and continue to have these conversations. And I hope you heal through telling your stories. And I hope you help other people heal. I know you will.
It's crazy how just an in-depth, I don't have those conversations. I don't. And it's crazy how you can just breathe after.
Right.
Just breathe.
Right. I love that. Everyone that's been on Sweet Tea, including myself, we all we're so nervous in the beginning. We're so nervous. And then it's almost like a weight lifted off, And it feels good. It feels good because we're doing it because we want to, not because we're forced to.
Yeah.
We're not telling just a little piece of our story to defend something. We're just coming on here and telling our story and showing who you are, It's a great feeling.
I think just talking about it, like somebody said in the comments, maybe therapy would really do something good for me.
Yes. Yes. And even talking on live, having a conversation and talking with people and doing back and forth. Just reading comments and listening to people and you giving advice back. And I'm gonna tell you a secret. When I ask people, what would you give advice to a person, like I did for you, for that mom? It was advice for the people in the comments, but I wanted to make sure that you heard it yourself too.
And that's how I felt it. Like it was an instant flashback for me. Like instant.
Right.
Oh.
It's my little trickster thing that I do.
That's a good one, Danny. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well done.
I want to make sure that people in the comments here, but I ultimately want you to hear it. I want you to give yourself that advice. Say it out loud, All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Katie, thank you so much for coming on. I love your whole entire face. Keep having these conversations, baby.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Katie. All right, guys, I am going to wrap it up. If you, I know there's people asking about Sweet Tea and coming on, you can always email me. I am trying to put together table talks. I got a text, hold on. I am trying to put together table talks so we can start having these conversations. Different conversations, different perspectives, and different ways of doing Sweet Tea. I always recommend that. I got stuff, guys. Shut up. Look. Love should never hurt. This is my DV merch. Do y'all see this? How freaking cute. It is, so every about 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to drop some new merch. It'll be in my bio. It should be available now. Yes, it should be in my bio. Heather, are you in here? Did you upload it to the website? Tiff, I have not gone through all the emails. Heather, are you in here? I know my other sweet tea merch is in here. Let me see. Green screen. Oh, I just got so many dang random screenshots. Okay. This is the sweet tea merch. This is the sweet tea shirt. It comes in pink and burgundy. That is in my bio. And then also I have the domestic violence one. It says love should never hurt. It's in my bio. Doing it now. Okay, she's uploading it to the website. It should be on the website here very shortly. If you want to order anything I make, all these orders helps me with sweet tea. I got to get microphones and computers and try to take it a little bit further, right? I am going to be putting that as my emotes. I'm going to try to take sweet tea as far as I can. So anything that if you guys get merch or anything like that, it helps support that. Every subscription up here, anybody that wants to support by sending a Cash App, my Cash App's in the bio. Also, I have the youth group that watches Sweet Tea. So if you would like to donate to getting the girls sweet t-shirts, it's a group of 15 girls. They range from 15 to 21. If you would like to help with getting those girls, you can either Cash App me or you can go to the merch website, click on the shirt, and just put in the comments or the memo that it's for the youth group. But I appreciate every single one of y'all coming in here, hanging out. Sweet Tea, another amazing one. We got KP next week. It is in my bio. The event link is in my bio. Make sure to click on it, register for KPs. We got a whole bunch of people coming up, y'all. We got KP, we got Texas Sweets, we got Damn Ashley, Mo Millions. I have Miss Pooh. I got a whole bunch of people. So we're just keeping Sweet Tea rolling, y'all. But I gotta get off here, guys. I appreciate it. It's on the website. Boom. DV shirt is on the website, guys. So go check it out if you want to get the DV shirt. It says love should never hurt. Love should never hurt. And I want y'all to always remember that. Love should never hurt. Ever. But I love y'all. Thank y'all guys for hanging out with me. Another great Sweet Tea. If you missed any portion of it, it will be uploaded to my YouTube, which is in my bio, Sweet Tea with Danny. It should be on there by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Thank you guys. I love all of you. Bye.